I'm Adora Wolfor, and welcome to Living a Creative Life, a true celebration of all you people, inspiring us with your passions and authenticity. Calgary is the Stampede City, and for 10 days in July, you can meet artists from across North America at the park. But some of the best up-and-coming talent can be found in the city all year round. Today, we stay inside the lines with a young comic book artist.
Yeah, it's pretty much just showing your affection of comedy on a sheet of paper with a pencil.
Meet a local singer whose enthusiasm for music is contagious.
You know, it's going a little bit too well for me, so I feel like I'm always constantly looking.
And discover music that will whet your appetite.
Give me that, give me that, give me that, give me that, give me that spicy chicken. Give me that, give me that, give me that, give me that spicy chicken.
All this and more on Living a Creative Life. As comic book movies made their way back onto the big screen last year, comic books themselves also saw huge growth. It's a billion-dollar industry that continues to boom. We introduce you to an aspiring comic book artist who has only begun telling his story one frame at a time. What kind of art do you do? What is your outlet for creativity?
Well, it's mainly just comics. Yeah, it's pretty much just showing your affection of comedy on a sheet of paper with a pencil.
So what got you into creating comics?
Well, it was mainly just reading them and getting inspiration and wanting to do it myself. So it all started with this cat, Garfield.
Now, Garfield is beloved around the world. Yeah, do you like lasagna as much as Garfield?
Probably, yes.
Yeah, okay.
Another reason why I like this is because some comics only have 3 panels, 1, 2, 3, but this one has 4, so it's showing many different ways to show comics.
I'd like to see what you have created. Is that all right?
Okay, so first of all, the name. So my very first comic character, I called him Santa Claus Jr., although he doesn't really look like Santa Claus's son or anything. I just thought that was a cool nickname for him, and I decided to call my company Santa Claus Jr. Inc. Well, it's pretty much just saying that even though he's Santa Claus Jr.'s son, people can be normal, but they can also be in a comic strip and do funny stuff. So it all started down with this. This is the very first comic I ever made, called Winter.
But is this about Calgary?
I mean, kind of, mainly in the wintertime. Well, yeah, of course. So, of course, I couldn't draw that well, so it didn't work.
No, this is great. I love it. So, some of the stories that you tell in your comics, are they about you?
So most of my comic characters are just like parts of me put into a character.
Of course. Okay, so what happens in this evil Atom society?
Okay, so it's mainly showing that if you want to be bad, it's going to be tough. Usually, they would try and take over the world.
Right.
But it would end badly.
Of course.
So it's just them trying, but then they keep on failing. Oh. So eventually, at the end, they do good.
What does it feel like to be a young person who is a creative?
Well, I mean, it's a little hard being a young person because you look at other people and you think they draw better than you, but then again, there's always going to be someone who's better than you at something, but that doesn't mean you're bad.
Do you have any tips for young people if they feel like they're not quite good enough, or if they want to stop?
Well, if you want to stop, but you think you don't want to at the same time, and you really like something, but you think you're going to do really bad at it, then just keep trying, you'll eventually get it.
The soulful singer, that is Kate Stevens, has been captivating audiences in Calgary and beyond since a very young age. She's only in her early 20s, but has already amassed plenty of accolades for her ever-growing catalog of music. She's currently the host of Magnetic North at CKUA, and that's where I caught up with her. So, I know you as a singer. Tell me a little bit about what it means to you to be called a young artist. Do you still think you're a young artist?
Oh my gosh, at the ripe old age of 22.
Right?
I don't know. I think that, we're kind of in this weird phase of getting out of a 2-year stint of absolutely doing nothing. So the artists that were young and emerging then are now, in the eyes of the music industry, are a little bit older, more mature, not as fresh and exciting. And I think that's so bizarre to me. It's really, really nice to see, just the camaraderie that we have in the music scene here. The creativity kind of come back into Calgary after the 2 years that we've had. I still remember that stone cold sober night we met. Drinking and just to prop and laugh. You said you couldn't forget.
What are some of the things that you may have wanted or feel like could be helpful?
That's a great question. I think support is a huge thing, and support from your peers, support from venues. I mean, as a younger artist, I think it starts, with that support of saying that I want to pursue music. This is a viable career option. Creativity is so, so important to live in a day-to-day life. There are so many different ways that you can indulge yourself into creativity and art. It's a great way to process your emotion, and it's phenomenal.
I can taste your lips, yeah. Smile is burned in my memory.
What's the dream project?
It's different. I'm blending a bunch of different mediums, and I'm very, very spoiled and lucky to be working here at CKUA as a radio host, producer, presenter. And I think that as a musician, hearing my songs being played on the radio was such an emotional and amazing feeling. So if I can make an artist feel the same way, then I know that I've done my job. I think that it's really important to kind of nurture that talent, because young people and young musicians aren't the future. They're happening right now. They're happening immediately. And I think that creating a stronger and more diverse and eclectic, vibrant music community, it starts with mentoring and it starts with collaboration, right? And I think that collaboration is key in any sense, and especially in the Calgary music scene. I think that, I'm living my dream right now, and as cheesy and cliche as that sounds, we do have that kind of competition aspect and that, business brain, but music is fun. Music is to be enjoyed, and the feeling when you're on stage or when you're creating is nothing like anything else. It's the closest thing we have to magic. No matter how creativity looks to you, it's humans at our best. I think that music and creativity is just the best thing you can do as a human being. Right choice doesn't have to move too fast, but if you want to go slow, let me know so I can act down on a right choice.
What music feeds your soul? Turns out it could be spicy chicken. We introduce you to an artist who has a huge appetite for hip-hop music.
To be honest, I think he was selling a car, and I called him and I showed up at his house. And then he had a studio, and then we booked a session, and here we are, recording songs. Yeah, I started actually in 2002. I've been kind of working and stuff, taking it easy. Then maybe I recorded 2-3 albums, and after I met Dimitro, I wanted to get back in the industry because there wasn't too much people I was, collaborating with in Calgary, because my first 3 albums were out of Edmonton. And we started recording slowly, and here we are.
I had done just a couple of hip-hop songs in the past, but it was quite a while ago, and they were sort of just one-offs, maybe three songs or so. And Sam came and had, wanted to do a lot of music, and hip-hop has just a lot of speaking parts, and it's more rhythm than anything. So we had to kind of find a nice in-between layer where we bounce ideas around and then come up with something that was that Sam would like and suited what the idea was for the album.
We created something nice, and Dimitri is very talented. I've worked with a lot of producers. He's an expert at what he does. I've arrange it and everything else. And yeah, we focus on all kinds of ages, you know, commercial happy music. Before you go out for dinner with the family, you put a smile on your face. Before, you know, kind of samosas, chicken, you know, food related to music.
Give me that, give me that, give me that, give me that, give me that spicy chicken. Give me that, give me that, give me that, give me that spicy chicken, chicken. Give me that spicy chicken.
We didn't make a song about food. It was actually, you mentioned, I can't even remember what the song was, but it was just some mention of food. I think you kind of ran with the idea, well, what if I wrote something about, I think it was shawarma was the first one. Culturally, it's in his boat, and as we usually do, we pick a beat, just something that's in a tempo that he can comfortably rap the lyrics to. And then he'll go into the booth, I've got the beat ready to go, and then we'll just, usually a pretty quick session for him to come in and speak into the mic.
Like the ranch sauce, people dip with it, no?
Ooh. So there's ranch?
If you guys want.
Okay,
if you guys
actually,
like ranch.
So you haven't said that this is actually chicken wings, right? We've been going chicken wing flavor, but when you, as soon as you put sweet and sour chicken, now it's like any kind of chicken.
Well, the hope is, you know, of course, we want to be known, and, you know, we want to make it in the music industry. And that's our goal, you know, to get out there, you know, make people happy, make a few bucks, you know, and, you know, help the community out and, you know, do positive things. Well, that's my main goal, is to give back to the community.
And hopefully with the right marketing, with the right, and because you can be really creative these days. You don't have to rely on a big record company to push you. There's other avenues now. And so that's part of the challenge, is knowing how we can leverage all of these new technologies and tools and avenues to actually be heard and be seen, so that you can make that as a career, right? So that's going to be a challenge. That's going to be up to you.
Yeah, no, I'm here.
I make the music.
Keep on dripping. It don't matter which one you picking, yeah.
Thank you for joining us to celebrate artistry, passion, and creativity with a view from the Elbow River Camp at Stampede Park. Join us next time on Living a Creative Life.